My name is Serena, and I was 27 years old when I met Alexis. I still remember the moment clearly. It was at a friend's wedding, a beautiful evening filled with music, laughter, and lights that sparkled like stars. I was standing by the drinks table when I saw him, Alexis. He was looking across the room, and our eyes met. There was something in his gaze that made me feel calm and happy at the same time. My heart skipped a beat when he walked toward me. "Hi," he said, smiling gently. "I'm Alexis." "I'm Serena," I replied, feeling a little shy. We started talking, and the conversation seemed to flow naturally. We spoke about our lives, our dreams, and our families. The hours passed like minutes, and before I knew it, the party was ending. I felt a connection with him that I had never felt before. The next day, my phone rang. It was Alexis. I smiled so brightly that my cheeks hurt from grinning. From that moment on, we talked every day. We went out for coffee, watched movies, and took long walks. He listened to me, understood me, and made me feel important. I could tell he genuinely cared, and I loved him more with each passing day. One evening, while walking in the park, he stopped suddenly. He took my hand, looked into my eyes, and asked me to marry him. My heart raced, my knees felt weak, and I could barely speak. "Yes," I whispered, tears in my eyes, and we hugged tightly. We decided on a small wedding with only family and close friends. That day, I felt like the happiest woman in the world. I imagined our life together, filled with love, joy, and understanding. I thought I was starting my perfect life, but I was wrong. Life after the wedding was very different from what I had imagined. The problem was Alexis's mother, Anka. She lived nearby and would come over almost every day without calling. Sometimes she brought food, but most of the time she brought her opinions, her rules, and her constant control. She told Alexis how to dress, when to eat, and even when to go to bed. And he listened. He listened like a child, not like a husband. I tried to make our house a happy home, but slowly it stopped feeling like mine. It felt like Anka owned the space. She rarely spoke to me directly. Even when I was present, she would talk to Alexis about me as if I wasn't there. I tried to be kind, patient, and loving, but she made me feel small and invisible. One day, during lunch, she looked at me with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Serena," she said, "you are lucky to be Alexis's wife. Many girls wanted him." Her words pierced through me. I stayed quiet, holding back tears. I began to notice that Alexis came home later than usual, saying he had spent time with his mother. I started feeling lonely, unimportant, and invisible in my own marriage. I was living with my husband, but I felt very much alone. One night, I finally spoke. "Alexis," I said softly, "I feel lonely. Your mother is always here. Sometimes I feel like you are not my husband." He sighed and said, "Oh, Serena, you're too sensitive. Mother is only trying to help. She doesn't mean to upset you." But he didn't understand. I was alone in my own marriage. Nights were filled with silent tears. I began to ask myself, was this marriage really meant for me? Arguments became more frequent, and every day I felt emptier. One night, after another terrible argument, I decided I could not live like this anymore. I packed my bag quietly, planning to leave before Alexis woke up. But in the morning, I felt something strange in my stomach. I had a feeling I couldn't ignore. I grabbed a pregnancy test, my hands trembling. My heart raced as I waited. The result appeared. Positive. I was pregnant. Tears blurred my vision. A baby. Our baby. Suddenly, hope filled my heart. Maybe Alexis would change. Maybe his mother would finally leave us alone. This little life gave me strength. I decided not to leave. Not yet. I had one last hope. That afternoon, I cleaned the house, cooked Alexis's favorite meal, chicken and rice, and set up candles to make the room look special. I wanted to tell him that night, to share my joy and our future. But as I finished arranging the table, the front door opened. It wasn't locked. Anka had walked in without knocking, as usual. In an instant, all my happiness vanished. She froze when she saw the romantic setup, the candles, the food, and me smiling nervously. "What is all this?" she demanded, her voice sharp. I took a deep breath. "Anka, I'm pregnant. I'm going to have a baby." She paused, then let out a strange, angry laugh. "Pregnant? No, it can't be Alexis's baby." "Yes, of course it is," I replied, my voice trembling. "Why would you doubt it?" Her face turned red with rage. You lied. You did this to trap my son. You can't have his baby." Before I could react, she raised her hand and slapped me hard across the face. The pain burned, and tears instantly filled my eyes. I stood there, frozen and shaking. Alexis's mother had just hit me in my own home. Then the sound of the front door opening again made my heart skip a beat. Alexis had returned. He saw everything, the dinner, the candles, me holding my cheek, and Anka standing there with an angry face. "What is happening?" he asked, concern in his voice. I pointed at Anka and whispered, She hit me." Alexis looked at his mother. "Mother, did you hit Serena?" "Yes, Alexis," she said, defiant. "She claims she's pregnant, but I don't believe her. She's trying to trap you. I had to stop her." Alexis turned to me. His eyes softened, filled with understanding and love. "I believe you, Serena," he said firmly. "You're my wife. This is our baby." Anka's face turned even redder. "What did you say?" "I said I believe Serena," he repeated. "She's my wife, and this is our child. I choose her." Anka screamed, "If you choose her over me, you are no longer my son." Alexis looked at her calmly. "Then I am not your son, if that is the price of standing with my wife and child." She shouted more, then stormed out, slamming the door behind her. Alexis came to me and held me close. "I'm so sorry, Serena. I should have seen this sooner." I cried in his arms, the tears finally releasing all the fear, anger, and sadness I had felt. After that day, Anka didn't call for weeks, and Alexis didn't contact her either. Our house became peaceful again. Slowly, we began talking, sharing our thoughts and feelings. He apologized for not protecting me and promised to put me and our baby first. We went to the doctor together, excited and nervous. Seeing our baby on the screen, tiny and beautiful, filled our hearts with joy. Months passed and our baby boy was born. Alexis looked at me, tears in his eyes, and whispered, "Thank you, Serena. You gave me everything." Our home was finally filled with love, laughter, and hope. One day the phone rang. It was Anka. She wanted to see her grandson. Alexis asked me if it was okay, and I said yes. She arrived a few days later, looking older, thinner, and quieter than before. I led her to the baby's room. She gazed at him, her eyes welling up with tears. "He looks like Alexis," she whispered. Then she turned to me. "Serena, I was wrong about everything. About you, about the baby. I am very, very sorry." I nodded. That was enough. Peace had returned. She never raised her hand again, called before visiting, and stayed calm while she was with us. Alexis never left my side again. Life showed me that even when things feel broken, love, patience, and courage can repair them. Family is not just about blood. It is about respect, support, and standing together through every challenge. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to hear more English stories that help you learn while enjoying life's lessons.